Hi students, I hope all the grammar topics were very clear to all of you and all of you have got a good hang on the grammar topics. Now we'll proceed towards the next section of our English subject, that is poetry. Okay. Now over a span of 3 or 4 days, we'll try to finish off all the 8 poems that we have. As I told you, we have 8 poems and 2 are sure to be asked. So we'll not leave any of the poems undone and we'll do all of them. We'll begin with the biggest one of them all, the Inchcape Rock, that is the third poem in your textbook. Now, how do we go about doing this? You keep your textbook in front of you while the explanation is going on. Okay? So you'll know what difficult words you have to write, what meanings you have to write, what I am talking about, and it'll be easier for you to understand when you are studying it simultaneously when the explanation is going on. After we are done with this, the explanation from the textbook, I request all the students to go through the summary and all the question answers of all the poems that we are doing from the Reliable series book that I told you all to purchase. Alright, so without further ado, let's begin with the third poem, that is the Inchcape Rock. We are beginning with the longest and the comparatively most difficult one, so that once this difficult part is out of it, out of our things to do, we'll go about doing the remaining poems very easily and fast. The Inchcape Rock, a very very nice poem. I had studied it when I was in school, so it was probably 20 years from now. And let's see, it's a good thing to see this poem once again. The Inchcape Rock, a very nicely written poem. It is something that signifies the victory of good over bad, or tit for tat, or you receive what you deserve, some lessons of those sort. The Inchcape Rock. Let's begin. Having the textbook in front of you will do good to you. If not, if you think you need not have the textbook, listen carefully. The Inchcape Rock. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was as still as she could be. So it is describing about one scene. There is this one scene where this whole thing is the ocean, and in the middle of the ocean there is this ship. We are drawing it as a boat. We'll call it the, okay, let's just call it the boat for now. So there's water all over the place, obviously in the middle of the sea, and this boat, it is still matlab it is not moving. Okay, this boat is as still as she could be. When would the boat be still? When there would be no waves. Okay, so the ship was as still as she could be. The ship was as still, as straight as she could be. She meaning the ship. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. Her sails. You know what is the sail? The cloth over here. Now see, in my drawing you'll need to imagine a lot. You imagine this to be a sail. Okay, the cloth that pushes the ship in a particular direction. Okay, and her keel. Keel means what? Now see, the boat may appear to be only this much on the surface of the water, but below it, for its support, you all may have seen it in some movie or something. This bottom part of the boat is called the keel. Okay, of the ship is called the keel. The keel, that is the bottom of the ship, was also steady, just like the ship was. Okay, in short, it was a totally dry situation where there was no wind, there was no movement. It was totally slow and dull. So no stir. Stir means movement. So no movement in the air, no movement in the sea. The ship was as still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion. From heaven, that is from the skies, there was no motion received by the sails. Motion means there was no wind that was blowing. Her keel, that is the base, was steady in the ocean. It was straight because there was no movement. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So, there was this Inchcape Rock over here. This rock was just named Inchcape Rock. Okay, so because it was very slow, the waves were blowing very slowly, so slowly the waves would just come from here and just pass over the Inchcape rock without causing much disturbance or splash. Okay, because it was very slow. So without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape rock. Okay, so little they rose, so little they fell. They meaning they is the waves. Okay, so little they rose. The waves rose very little, they fell very little. So they were blowing very, very slowly. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape bell. Now, what is this Inchcape bell? We'll come to know a little later in the poem. The abbot of Aberbrothock. Abbot is a monk, okay, a priest from this place called Aberbrothock. So, the priest from Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape rock. Now, see what he had done. Say this is the Inchcape rock, okay. Now, what he had done is he had tied a bell to the Inchcape rock, okay, and there was, now how would this bell stay on the water? There was a buoy. You all may have seen those white colored baskets of thermocol or plastic in the middle of the sea. In case if you haven't, try going around in some ferry and you will find these. Okay, white thermocol boxes in the middle of the sea. So, what he had done, the abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape rock. So, there was this bell that was attached to the Inchcape rock. On the buoy, this part, this white thermocol box is called the buoy. On the buoy, in the storm, it floated and swung. What floated and swung? The Inchcape bell. It floated on the buoy because it was made of plastic or thermocol, and it swung. Swung means to swing from one to the other side. And over the waves, its warning rung. Over the waves, on top of the waves, its warning. Whose warning? Inchcape rock's warning rung. It was ringing. So, because of this bell, this Inchcape rock became very famous. Okay? And this Inchcape rock typically was very dangerous. Why? Because it was right in the middle of the sea. And it would generally be submerged under the water. So people would not come to know that there is a big rock that they are heading for. And just dash into it and their ships would meet a big accident. But thanks to this priest, what did this priest do? He tied this bell to the Inchcape rock. So we'll call it the Inchcape bell. And he placed the bell on a buoy which would keep floating. So when there would be waves, the buoy would move, making the bell move, making a sound, and people would come to know, okay, there is something of harm over here, and would come to know, acha, this was the Inchcape rock. And because of this Inchcape bell, this Inchcape rock was sighted by them, and they would bless the abbot of Aberbrothock. They would bless the monk, the priest. Okay? When the rock was hid, when the Inchcape rock would be hid by the surge's swell. Surges means the waves. Swell, that is the big waves. Surge's swell is equal to big waves. So when the rock would be hid by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell. The mariners would hear the warning bell, the Inchcape bell ringing. And then they knew the perilous rock. Then they would identify, okay, this is the perilous rock. This is the dangerous rock that we were talking about. And bless the abbot of Aberbrothock. They bless the abbot, they bless the priest for saving their lives. So this is the background, okay? Now all of that, all this was the background. It is no continuation. Now it is a new day, okay? A new scene. This is just a small history of the Inchcape rock and the Inchcape bell. Now this is a new scene, okay? The sun in heaven was shining gay. The sun in the heavens was shining. The sun in the heavens, that is in the skies, was shining gay. Gay means not like Karan Johar. Gay means it was shining happily. The sun was shining happily in the sky. All things were joyful on that day. That day, this particular day, was a very cheerful day. It was a very nicely lit up day, very windy and nice and cool. All things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round. The seabirds, they screamed as they wheeled around. As they wheeled around means went around in circles. So when these birds were going around in circles, they were screaming out of happiness. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round, and there was joyance in their sound. There was joyance means there was happiness in their sound. You could make out that the birds are very happy. The boy on the Inchcape bell was seen, the Inchcape bell that we had seen, was a darker speck in the ocean green. So there was this big ocean, this huge ocean, and the boy was like this. In this whole plain sea, there was just one speck, there was just one dot. That is how it was looking. So entire sea of green, clean, and just one speck, one dot. And what was this dot? This was the Inchcape bell. A darker speck, a darker spot on the ocean green, in the green ocean. Sir Ralph the rover walked his deck. What is a deck? Say for example, this is the ship. I don't know how it is. So this part, the आगे का part of the ship is called the deck. मैं have seen Titanic वाला जो pose है वो deck के ऊपर है. So Sir Ralph the rover walked his deck. He came at the edge of the deck, and he fixed his eye on this darker speck. So he came and he saw this. कि ये क्या लफड़ा है इधर? What is this dark speck? What is this spot? He felt the cheering power of spring. He was very, very happy to see what he had discovered, what he had found. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle. It made him sing. He was extremely happy looking at this dark speck. His heart was mirthful to excess. His heart was mirthful means his heart was happy. Extremely happy. Mirthful to excess means it was extremely happy. Zarurat se zyada happy. But the rover's mirth was wickedness. The rover means what? The pirate. Okay? Rover means a pirate. So the pirate's happiness. He was happy. The pirate, Sir Ralph, he was very happy. But his happiness was out of wickedness. Okay? It was a wicked happiness. That kind of happiness where he was happy because he was about to do something bad. Okay? But the rover's mirth was wickedness. His eye was on the Inchcape float. So what he did, he came over here and his eye. अच्छा एक ही आंख होएगा इसका, तो पायरेट्स का फिक्स है. So his eye was on this Inchcape float, on the boy and the bell and all of that. So his eye was on this Inchcape float. He fixed it in front of him. Acha, this is the one that I have to spoil. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rover's mirth was wickedness. Out of wickedness he was laughing. His eye was on the Inchcape float. His eye was on this float. Quoth he. Quoth he means he quoted. Quoted he, my men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape rock. Because he was in a big ship. Now obviously he cannot go to the this small Inchcape rock with this whole big ship. So what he said, there are these small lifeboats, small boats in a big ship. If you may have seen Titanic, you'll come to know what I am talking about. So what he said to his men, lower a small boat and you take me to this small Inchcape bell. Okay, take me to this spot in the boat. Quoth he, said he, my men, put out the boat. Let's get the small boats out. Small boat out, one boat, and row me to the Inchcape rock. The act of rowing. You know those handy boats where you have to row the boat yourself with the oar. So, and row me to the Inchcape rock and I'll plague the abbot of Aberbrothok. I'll plague means I'll trouble. I'll trouble him in what way? By cutting off this Inchcape bell. How will that harm the abbot? It will harm the abbot by not getting any further blessings. Obviously, directly he will not be affected by this. But if people don't praise him, appreciate him in the future, it will cause good to him. He will be very happy that no one is getting free blessings. Okay, now that is how some people are, these pirates. They don't like good of others. They don't like when others are happy. Others are getting blessed in this case. So the boat is lowered. So his men, what do his men do? They lower the boat. The rower, that is Sir Ralph, sits in the boat along with some men, and the boatmen row. They row him, they take him to the Inchcape rock, and to the Inchcape rock they go. They happen to travel to there. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat. So Sir Ralph was like this in the boat. He bent over and he cut off the Inchcape bell. And he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. Which bell? The Inchcape bell. Okay. Now see over here, bell is given capital because it is referring to the Inchcape bell, which is a proper noun. Alright. So he bent over from the boat and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. Down sank the bell with a gurgling sound. So as soon as it got cut away, the bell sound and gone. Okay. The Inchcape bell is gone. The bubbles rose. Obviously, when the bell was going down, there were bubbles that were coming up. The bubbles rose and burst around. The bubbles rose and they bursted. Okay, onomatopoeia. So down sang the bell with a gurgling sound. Again sound. And the bubbles came up and burst around. So again sound. Quoth Sir Ralph, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Aberbrothok. The next one who comes will not bless the abbot of Aberbrothok, and that is why he will feel happy that no one is getting free blessings. Okay, so I don't know how he feels happy because of this, but that was his motive, to stop the abbot of Aberbrothok from getting free blessings. Alright, I don't know what the logic behind this, but that is how it was. Sir Ralph the rower sailed away. He went away, that scene got over. He came here, cut the Inchcape bell, and that scene got over. Again went back from his boat to the ship and he continued his loot. He scored the seas for many a day. Scored the seas means he travelled throughout the sea. For many days he was just travelling from here to there because he was a pirate. Alright. So he scored the seas for many a day. And now grown rich with plundered store. Now he has a lot of money. Thugs of Hindustan ke aisa. Because he's looted all these many days. He has a lot of money. Right. So, and now grown rich with plundered store. Plundered means looted. Store means jewelry or materials. So now he has grown rich because of the looted materials. He steers his course for Scotland's shore. You know, in the car you have a steering wheel. Steering means it will help you change the direction. So what he does, he steers his course, that is, he changes the direction of his course and wants to go towards Scotland. So now I've looted so much money, now let me spend all this money and then come back and loot some more. Alright? So this scene is also over. He comes, cuts, goes away. Now he has decided that I'll go. Now he is roaming about the sea. Now he has a lot of money and he's decided to go to Scotland's shore. Another day. So thick a haze overspreads the sky. So there is a haze. Haze means a lot of fog. There is a thick fog spread all over the sky. Okay, so they are not able to see things very clearly. Just like you would visit Lonavala. Okay, or Matheran, or any other Malsej, any other place which has a lot of fog. So thick a haze overspreads the sky. The entire sky is spread over with this fog. Okay, wait, there is some crybaby coming. 1 minute. Yeah, the crybaby is gone. So, he is now grown rich with plundered store and he steers his course for Scotland's shore. So thick a haze overspreads the sky. So the sky is full of this fog. They cannot see the sky on high. So they are not able to see the sky. They are not able to see anything that is there around them. The wind hath blown a gale all day. The wind hath blown full speed mein. The whole day the wind hath blown with a lot of speed. At evening it hath died away. Now in the evening there was no wind at all. The wind currents got over in the day only. So late evening they could not have any, they could not experience any wind. It was just plain. On the deck the rover takes his stand. Again he comes on the deck. He takes his stand. He's standing on the deck and seeing everything around him, not being able to see anything. So dark it is, they see no land. They are not able to see any land, any shore, any island, nothing. They are just being able to see continuous stretches of water. So the wind, so dark it is, they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, it will be lighter soon. We'll have some light coming in very fast. For there is a dawn of the rising moon. There is a dawn, D-A-W-N, the beginning. The moon is just beginning to come up. So with the moonlight, we'll be able to see some things more clearly. Alright? Canst hear, said one, the breakers roar. Canst means can you? Can you hear the breakers roar? I am not able to hear the breakers roar. Breakers roar. See, roaring would signify a sound. Breaker over here would be the speed breaker of the waves. What would break the speed of the waves? Some kind of rock or some kind of shore. Okay. So he says, I cannot hear the breakers roaring. That is the waves splashing against something. So I'm not able to hear. It means I'm not able to see any land around here. Okay. Canst hear, said one, the breakers roar. For methinks we should be near the shore. I think we should be near the shore somewhere, but I'm not able to hear any waves splashing against the land or rocks. Now where we are I cannot tell, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape bell. If I could hear the Inchcape bell, which was somewhere close to the shore, it would have been good. First thing, it was safety for us that we are not dashing against the Inchcape rock. Secondly, if it was coming from a particular direction, we would know exactly, okay, the Inchcape rock is towards our left, so we have to head straight. Something of that sort. They hear no sound, but it is absolutely quiet, no sound at all. The swell is strong, the waves are strong. Now why are the waves strong and there is no wind? The wind had blown the whole day. So it had already caused a lot of ripples and a lot of currents, causing a lot of waves. So it was wavy, though it was not windy. So the swell is strong, the waves are very strong. Though the wind hath fallen, they drift along. The wind hath fallen. There was no wind that was blowing, but they drift along. They are drifting along slowly and gradually. The boat is going in one direction. Till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. Very loudly, it happens to dash against something, some big rock. Oh Christ, oh my God, it is the Inchcape rock. This is the Inchcape rock that we have just struck against. So, Sir Ralph the Rover someday cut off the Inchcape bell and coincidentally deeds come to life and his ship unfortunately dashes against the Inchcape rock only. Alright? Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. Tore his hair means he started pulling his hair, not tear like a page, okay? So, Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. He cursed himself in his despair. He was so desperate, he was cursing, Salam, aisa kyun, itna kam akkal kyun hai, वगैरह वगैरह. So he was cursing himself in despair, in desperation. The waves rush in every side. From everywhere, there are waves. Waves coming inside the ship from all directions. Okay? The waves rush in every side. From every side, because it is a broken ship now. Waves are rushing inside the ship. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. The ship is going below the water. Okay? Even in his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the rover hear. Even when he was about to die, he was just about to go below the water, sink forever, die. Even during that time, a sound one dreadful sound, one scary sound could the rover hear. The pirate, Sir Ralph, could hear a dreadful sound. What was that sound? A sound as if with the Inchcape bell in his hand. A sound as if someone having an Inchcape bell in his hand. Who? The devil. The devil below, that is inside the earth, Patal Lok. The devil below was ringing his knell. Knell is the music or the sound or the instrument sound that is used when someone dies. So it is a farewell tone, and he is able to hear the farewell tone with the Inchcape bell, as if the devil is ringing the Inchcape bell. A lesson learnt by this poem by us is, through this poem by us, is if we do bad, we can expect bad to come sooner or later. On that day when he cut off the Inchcape bell, there were no repercussions, there were no after effects. But it did come back to him someday. Alright, a very nice poem. I hope you enjoyed all of this. Now, what you are to do is summary from the Reliable series and go through all the question answers. Okay, that was it for this lecture. I hope you liked the video. This is Ronak Shah signing off. I'll see you next time.